I'm Paul Zak. I'm the CEO of Immersion Neuroscience. So Neuro-Economists measure brain activity while people make decisions to understand the variation in decisions. So I know many people have never made a bad decision in their life, but their brother-in-law who was buying investment real estate before the bubble crashed, what's that about if we have such big brains? So I think it's a very humble way to understand what people do by measuring their brain activity as opposed to binning people as rational or irrational or something else. But for sure, it's the influx of data that's coming in. So, the amount of data that human resource managers have to understand is enormous. And I think the responsibilities for things like employee engagement, retention, productivity, HR professionals are absorbing more and more of that job purpose at work. And so, because of the data and the need to actually hit metrics all the time, it's becoming a very data-intensive environment. And I think that's where technology comes in to really help HR professionals not have to work 1,000 hours a week and actually understand how to use the data precisely to hit the metrics that they need to hit. I don't know, that's a good question. Are HR people ready? I think some are ready, and I think it's incumbent on people like us and PathMotion who create technologies to make it really useful so that it's easy to use, but also has clear, actionable insights so that when you get this information, you know what to do directly. Not just information overload, what do I do with it, but I got this, now do that. So I think getting into that prescriptive level of really detailed information is the key to making technologies that solve the information overload. Yeah, I think a lot of opportunities are in combining different areas of HR. So from learning to looking at job candidates to retention issues to all that's going to come together, I think, in terms of the data. So at least in my view, when I have data on all those different aspects of what employees are doing, then I don't have silos at work who are touching the people at work in different ways. I have a unified system that brings people in, evaluates them, trains them, helps promote them, helps develop them as professionals, and I'm getting all this feedback. So from a neuroscience perspective, when you have enough data, you have tight feedback loops, and now I have an opportunity to really develop the people at my workplace. And we know that the high performers are few and far between. So once you have them, you want to keep them, you want to engage them, we want to let them grow, both professionally and personally, so that they stay working with you and don't go somewhere else. Great question. I have a daughter in college, so we've had this conversation, and I think it's really getting a great foundation in data analytics, number one, but also knowing a lot about people, right? Focus on the psychology, even some neuroscience. I think if you think of the people skills and the analysis skills and bring those together, you really have an opportunity to be effective and also to understand the wonderful weirdness of human beings, that everyone's imperfect, and if you can grab the strengths and minimize the weaknesses of your team, you can really build very high performance teams, but also teams that can grow over time and get better and better. So I think that's a real challenge. So just having the data can't do it, and just knowing about human psychology and neuroscience is not enough, because you've got to really understand the metrics, how to challenge people, how to move forward so that you continue on a growth path.